Okay, this is going to be a kind of a quick video of summary of our experience of going to Lichtsinn RV to pick up our Winnebago Revel. Been meaning to do this for a while and finally got around to it, so hope you like it. Okay, so we're going to go over the process that we took to get the Winnebago Revel and maybe give you some feedback and just our opinion of what the process was like buying it from Lichtsinn RV. Back in July, when we were considering getting the RV, we spent a lot of time online looking for pricing, looking for inventory. Pretty much impossible. There was nothing available at a reasonable price. They would pop up and they would just disappear, and prices were all over the map. So anybody that's been on YouTube like you are has probably seen some videos from Lichtsinn. They have a pretty heavy presence, and always impressed with their videos, and the concept of being able to pick the RV up from Forest City with no miles on it appealed to me. I have to admit that was kind of a cool idea. So I started off with just an email through their website. Just sent them an email, wanted to know what, if they had a better price than what they advertised. I think it was $180,000 on their website at the time, and at that point I was hearing prices of anywhere from $128 to $139, $140, depending on if it had the AC and the alloy wheels and so on. So the email immediately was responded to with, give me a call and I'll tell you about the pricing, and I think he gave me his phone number. In fact, I think when I logged in, you have to put your phone number. So I got a couple messages, finally got in touch with the guy. He wouldn't email me the price. He just said he would do it over the phone. So we did it over the phone, and I think it was $133 and change. And at that point, that was a good price. And
with AC and
yeah,
better wheels.
Totally optioned out, pebble gray with no graphics, and that's exactly what we wanted. So at that point, he's telling me that I think we were number 70 on their order list so far, and that we needed to put a deposit down or we're going to lose the window. He said they were no pressure, but the dates are getting further and further out for delivery. If you really want it, this is your opportunity. So so called the wife and kicked it around, and she didn't really give me a thumbs up or thumbs down. So I just rolled the dice and gave him my credit card number and locked up the process. Their finance guy, they transfer you to him, you do some paperwork, and they check your credit and all that. But the $5,000 that you put down is non-refundable. So if you're on the fence, or this is just like, maybe I'm thinking about it, don't put the deposit down. They do not refund the deposit. So I don't,
they make that very clear though.
Yeah, for the most part. I mean, there's some people that have been caught and burned by it, but if you're going to move $5,000 into somebody's account, you need to read the fine print. So we did, we understood, and we knew we were committed. At that point, we were told it was going to be, I forget, 90 days, something like that. It was July, we were told late September, and we were told that we would get an update on the process. Once there was a VIN number assigned to our rig, then they would give us basically an ETA for when we could go pick it up. So let's see, at that point there wasn't any more paperwork to do. It was very simple on the front end. There wasn't a whole lot of paperwork because you're going to do the final deal at the dealership. So at that point we just had to wait and watch YouTube and go crazy thinking about getting a van,
which gave us a lot of time to study and order things and get prepared for it. Yeah, we got a lot of great tips from folks like us and others that have been through this process. And so we started purchasing things off Amazon and other sites, and you reached out to the salesman at Lichtsinn, and they said it was fine to ship things right to the dealership. Which was wonderful because we were flying there, and so things like bedding and pillows and pan set, large things that we wanted to have for our drive home was pretty impossible to try and pack.
Yeah, they were really good about that.
Yeah, so he stored it all for us, and it was all ready for us when we got there.
Yeah, so after that, there's just a lot of waiting, and kind of drove the guy crazy. I think I kept asking him if there was any updates, and he finally said, "Look, until I get the VIN number, there's really nothing to talk about." So, you know, I just...
And you kept asking if, you know, if somebody backed out.
Oh yeah, yeah. I asked him if, hey, you know, what if a deal goes bad? How about I take that van? He said it rarely happens, and he said if it does, the only way you're going to get that van is you're going to pay the full retail, which at the time was $180,000, which is insane. So, if you really, really want the RV, and maybe you made a good play on GameStop, you might give them a call. But for the rest of us, you got to wait. And so we waited and waited, and finally got a VIN number sometime in September.
Yes, and then we were able to get insurance quotes.
Yep. Yeah, and they offer insurance there. We declined. We found a better deal for us through our insurance. So we elected to fly into the Des Moines Airport. I didn't know it was. Yeah. Anyways, so Des Moines Airport, they pick you up, and I think it's $100, and they just roll that into your deal. About an hour and a half, 2 hours to get from Des Moines.
About 2 hours.
Yeah, and it's super friendly people, real nice. You get to the dealership, they give you a loaner car. They recommended that we stay at the Cobblestone Inn, which is an interesting place.
Pretty new, but
yeah,
it felt like a temporary hotel or something.
Just something weird about it. It's fine. It's
clean.
Yeah, it's clean.
Nice. I mean, literally right behind the dealership.
Yeah, you could walk to the dealership. If you don't want the loaner car and you're not planning on driving, you could literally just walk to the dealership. But it's right there. So the next morning we got up, we go to the orientation. They allow you up to 4 hours to go through the van, and the techs, or the I'm not sure what the guys that do the orientation, they know these vans inside and out.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
Yeah, I mean, the level of training those guys are getting from Winnebago is probably better than any other dealership. They're literally, they can just go to the factory at any time and get, you know, some training or updates. Very helpful. I think you might have seen the video that I took of the orientation, because it's a little overwhelming. There's so much to go over, but they will sit with you and go through every aspect of the van.
No question is a bad question.
No.
I mean, it was wonderful.
And so at that point, when you get to the orientation, you're going to want to check everything on the van, and I mean everything. You're going to want to get an outlet tester. You want to plug into every USB. You're going to want to turn on the AC, every fan, run every faucet, turn on every light. There's a great document on the Revel 4x4 page on Facebook, and it's basically a checklist. But this is your opportunity to go through the whole van and catch something, because you're right there. You haven't done the paperwork yet. You still haven't finalized the deal. So if there's something catastrophically wrong with the van, I can't imagine what it'd be, but let's say that AC is not working, or the heater is inoperable. They're going to work with you and make it right, or you're not going to sign the paperwork. I mean, if you're smart, you're not going to do the deal. As much as committed as you are, if there's some serious flaw with the rig, you can now at that point tell them, look, I'm not going to, you know, I'm not going to accept it. It's not ready to go. And whether or not that 5K, I'm not sure what would happen, but
lose it.
But that's a pretty extreme example. What's more than likely is going to happen is you're going to notice a problem with the van, and they're going to make it right while you're there. So,
and they actually go through the vans. They get it.
Yeah.
But you can't actually pick it up from them for, it's like a week and a half.
Yeah.
They thoroughly go through the van themselves before you even get there.
Yeah. Unfortunately, with Winnebago, the quality can vary, and they check the awning, they check everything, and occasionally they fix wiring issues, and so you're not going to get it the day they get it delivered to them. They do go through it, but yeah, the orientation is great. They are very thorough, very patient. They've had people spend the full 4 hours. I think we were there for probably an hour and 45 minutes, something like that. Yeah. So once you're done with that, you're going to go inside to the finance guy, and there's a crap load of paperwork you gotta sign. They go over the details of the factory warranty, the Mercedes warranty. They try and get you to sign up for some Winnebago club thing. It's
which I think we get a free year of that.
The wind, I forget. Anyhow, and then they're going to try and pitch the extended warranty for the RV, and I don't want to go off on that. People can have their own opinions. I've never had a good experience with extended warranties on vehicles, let alone an RV. The guy was cool about it. He told me the name of the company. I Googled it, and the reviews they weren't real good. Let's just say that. And I think the price of it was $6,000 or something, $7,000.
He lowered it after a little bit when we kept saying no.
Yeah, you can always negotiate, but my feeling on that is no. I just decided not to do it. So there's that. So while you're at the dealership, they've got the mats. They had a full-size spare with an alloy wheel, which I wanted for the van, so they swapped it out for the steel rim. What else did we get there? The 30 amp surge protector.
Yeah, and the power cord, and then didn't you get some kind of lock or something for the? Yeah,
lock for the surge protector. And there was a few other things. They got tons of stuff there, and the pricing is legitimately good. They're not taking advantage of you. The mats came, I mean, the price was as good as I was going to get anywhere else. So we bought a few things there, and then you get the van, and then go drive around Iowa. We went by the Winnebago factory, which is pretty incredible. Yeah, there's just thousands of rigs out there, and hundreds of Mercedes chassis and Revels, and unfortunately, the tour was closed. We would have loved to have done it, but due to the Rona, we had to just do it from the outside, from the fence. So you drive it around, go to a grocery store. We went to the Walmart in, I forget what city that was.
Was it Spring City?
I guess, yeah. We just want to put some miles on it. We went to Walmart, loaded the thing up, and then you get to stay at the dealership if you elect to. And I would strongly recommend you spend 2 nights at the dealership. So.
And they hook you up to power, filled up with water.
Yep. And you can drain your black or your gray water there. So the first night, you're learning how to cook and do everything. I encourage you, don't go out for a meal. Cook in the van. Do it. Again, you're going to be testing things to see if you're tripping fuses or breakers. So the first night we slept in it, never really got warm. Didn't really pay much attention. We didn't realize we should have had the diesel heater on. We used the electric heat, and it was October. Yeah, it was cold. It was cold. There was light snow off and on. So the next morning, told the guy, and he said, "Oh yeah, use the diesel on cold weather."
Game changer.
Yeah, and then we had a problem with the heater, the flat screen.
The thermostat.
Yeah, the little flat screen on there. It was showing a really low temperature. As far as the van's temperature, we could have the heat cranked up, and it was getting warm in here, and it was showing like 62 degrees. So we took it back in, and they took it to the service bay. He found that the wire that's connected to the sensor, which is up on the bottom of that cabinet, apparently was never hooked up. So it was not getting any kind of ambient temperature reading. So they fixed that. I think that was the only real issue the first night.
Yeah.
That and the heat, not knowing that we should have used diesel. Second day, we did the same thing, just cruised around. There's a few things to do, not a lot to do.
It's a pretty small town.
But highlights for us were, let's see, we went to Shooter's Bar several times.
Which is interesting. The food was good.
Yeah, it was great.
It was very friendly people. You could tell it's for locals. When we walked in, we obviously looked like strangers, and they were, they wanted to know where we were from, and asked all kinds of questions. And
there's two sides to them. You got the restaurant, and you got the bar. The restaurant was kind of dead, so the second time we went there, we went to the bar.
A lot of Winnebago people in there after their shifts.
Yeah, you're gonna see a lot of the guys who built your Revel, and girls, and they liked Fireball. I think we ran out of Fireball the night that we were there. So that's interesting. I found that to be an interesting thing.
Luckily, the owner came through with a case of it.
Yeah, that's right. He did come bursting in. Yeah, that was good. So that, whether or not that affects the quality of these rigs, I'll let you decide that. And then what else? There was that Paddler's Tap, which was a beer place, and that was cool. They had a lot of different beers. So those are the two places that we kind of went and hung out. There's a grocery store there in town that's pretty good. I forget the name of it.
I forget. It's not one we have around here.
Yeah, it's just
and they did have an A&W. Yeah, we didn't go to that, but there's not a whole lot of choices.
No Starbucks. No. It's remote, rural Iowa.
But friendly people.
Yeah, real cool. So after that, let's see, there's Buddy Holly's crash site, which is cool. You can go check that out. I checked it out. We did have an issue with the van, a pretty serious one, on the second or third day when we were getting ready to leave. I covered this in one of my other videos, but the rig would not go into drive, or you couldn't take it out of neutral. And that's where the guys at Lichtsinn stepped up. They got the factory guys to come over. They spent hours working on it. They arranged for the van to get picked up and taken to the Mercedes dealership.
Minnesota.
Yeah. At that point, the van had 60 miles on it, so it actually had more miles on a rollback than it did on its own.
And they gave us a loaner car again.
Yep. They were super cool. They kept calling and asking, how we were doing. They offered to take care of the hotel. We ended up having to get a hotel, and at that point, we were just kind of, I just swiped the car. Just didn't feel like it. I mean, they would have done anything for me. So.
And then they let us. They were really sweet. They let us take the loaner car all the way up to Minnesota and just leave it there.
That's right.
And so we didn't have to follow each other back to the dealership in Iowa.
Yeah.
They just sent somebody back up the next day and picked up the loaner car.
Yep.
So
that was cool.
Very sweet.
No, it was good. It was overall experience. Would I do it again? Yeah, I would. They were good to work with. It's a dealership. They're making money. The upside for me was the van had 60 miles on it, and we had an issue, and they had factory techs right there. I can't think of a downside other than the drive home for us was like 900 miles, so it was a haul coming back. And there's people that buy these things from California and Alaska. If you don't mind driving, it's not a big deal. And if you're buying an RV, you're going to be driving. So I would do it again in a heartbeat. The communications was good. The service was good. Can't think of anything else.
Well, they were telling us that if you were to make an appointment to have something repaired, it was like 2 months.
Yeah.
So buying it from there and staying there for a couple days, whatever issue we had, they immediately took it into their service bay and fixed it right there. But there was no waiting.
Yeah, that is the thing. I mean, if we would have drove the van home and found out that thermal sensor was not connected, I'd probably be looking at a month and a half to 2 months before I could get it into a local Winnebago dealer. I'm sure I could get a mercenary RV tech to come fix it, but you don't want to spend this kind of money and just have to wait, or have some hack come and play with the wiring in your rig. Yeah, it was great. It was a good experience. I'd do it again. I don't have any other.
Yeah, and they let us. We stayed another night at the dealership after getting it back from Minnesota.
Yeah, it was late in the day, so they were cool. I called and said, "Hey, do you guys mind if I crash there again?" Yeah. We did that, and then the next morning topped off the water, and we hit the road, and I think it was a 13 or 14 hour drive. Mm-hmm. But no, it's for us. It's been a good experience. If we were going to do it again, I'd go through Lichtsinn, and they had nothing to do with this video. I don't think we've looked online. I don't think we've ever seen anybody talk about what the process was like. I'm just doing this for people that are considering it. There's plenty of ways you can buy an RV, but if it's a Winnebago, I can't think of a better way to get it. So that's it. Thanks for watching. I'm not going to ask you to subscribe or thumbs up. You do what you want. And this is just for y'all's hopefully entertainment and maybe help you make a decision. And again, I had no influence from Lichtsinn. They didn't ask me to do this, and totally spontaneous. So thanks for watching.